Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Tolsman, and you're listening to the Against All Average podcast, the show where business owners and entrepreneurs come to learn the skills and mindset to lead exceptional lives. Today, I am joined by the one and only Jake. My favorite song is Apple Bottom Jeans by T-Pain Spurley. What's up,
Boots
Jake?
with the fur, with the fur. That's a great song, Kyle. I don't even know why you're trying to knock that. T-Pain is a home dog.
I'm not even talking trash, man. I'm just talking like it is.
It was so funny back when I was like in high school and riding the bus. I had an awesome bus driver, and our bus driver would totally put that song on. We would blast. We get the whole bus singing, boots with the fur. It was great. Seriously, it was awesome.
I don't even remember what year that was. It was probably after I got out. What year? Man, I should Google search this one of these days. I don't care that much, but yeah, I was like, I don't know. For me, it was never even like a legitimate song. It was just like so ridiculous, so out there, so funny. But like every time I hear it come on the radio, it's just like, the words. You shouldn't know the words. But it always comes on. You're just like, yeah, like it's a jam though. Like it's got a beat.
It's a great song, and it's like, does anybody really know like what the song's about? It's like, probably not. You're just freaking screaming it.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter what it's about. You just freaking get after it and get going, and I don't know. It's a club banger, right?
You bet.
I don't know. I don't go to clubs. I have no idea. I just chill with like, I don't know. I'm drinking out of a kid's cup right now. If you can see me on YouTube.
Because it's called dad life, where you drink out of kids' cups and don't go to clubs.
It's like you have a couple sets of questions like, do I need a cup? Yes. Question number 2, would I prefer a clean cup? Yes. Option number 3, grab whatever color cup and whatever material cup it is and drink from it. That is dad life, especially in the summer. It's always interesting getting everything done, and you're trying to spend the most time you can. And sometimes the dishes, they pile up a little bit. So, but that's all good. It's been a good summer. Been a little bit too quarantined for my liking, but it's been all good. How about you, Jake? How's your summer rolling?
Oh, it's great. It's great. We've been spending a lot of time on the river. We're going to Central Oregon here next weekend for a little birthday bash with the boys. So that'll be some great fun, and just living up summer the best we can, right?
Nice. Right on. Yeah, let's get this thing rolling. The one question I always think about when I'm talking to you is, how's your company FAEM doing? I know you're kind of going all over the place with Pro Services. You're actually getting some event traction as well. How are things going, and what are your problem points, your pain points right now as you're in this early growth stage?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. We're actually pretty excited. We got the North Idaho State Fair all signed up to use one of our software features. So we're extremely excited about that. Events are coming around. They're picking up. Most events have just kind of understood that 2020 isn't a possibility, but let's start planning for 2021. So we're really trying to push on. There will be events. There will be better days. So that's been great. And along with Pro Services, businesses are really starting to understand that the digital world is a thing they have to look to. They have to act on it now. So we've been very grateful, and I think we're building like 7 websites right now for customers. It's just absolutely amazing. And you're totally right. With all this growth, there's a lot of growth struggles. It's been a little interesting, especially trying to hire new people in a pandemic, and not really being able to see them in person has made it a little tough. I think probably our biggest struggle right now is we're in that kind of awkward in between where we're slammed with work, but we're not slammed enough to add another person. Right. So we're kind of in that in between stage where we would really love them, but we're just not there yet. So that's kind of what we're working through. Just putting in all the extra hours everybody is to just kind of get caught up.
Right. I see you throwing out ads all the time for You need a little of this and a little of that. You guys are just trying to piece things together and make them flow in the meantime until you can hire another person. So this is always the fun stage, but it's often frustrating because you're working like a dog trying to find solutions for folks. You've found solutions for them, and that means you guys are just having more on your plate because you don't have the finances rolling through yet to hire that person on. So that's the toughest stage, I think, of building a business, is that stage where I've got work, we've got revenue coming in, but we need another person that is top notch right now, or I'm going to go insane.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we're definitely there. Our director of pro services just texted me. He's like, yo, I found a new social media manager, or to hire a full-time social media manager. I'm like, all right, like, let's go. Like, let's get the ball rolling. Let's get him started. Fresh out of college. They're ambitious. It's going to sound awful, but they're at a great price because they need experience. They want to work. And all right, I mean, if it's not now, when is it going to be? And you kind of get to that point where it's like, you can keep pushing it off, saying, all right, well, let's wait till we get a little bit busier. But at some point you just have to do it, right? And you're going to take a little bit of a hit on the front end, but it's going to pay off for the long run. So we're kind of shifting in that direction now.
Yeah, one of these podcasts, I forget who it was that I was listening to the other day. They said every $10,000 in revenue that they received, they put $5,000 into adding another employee, and then put a couple grand back into the business, and then lived off of $3,000. And so they just kept on repeating that and replicating that time and time again. They didn't say, oh, $10,000 in revenue, that's awesome, I'm going to keep it all, or I'm going to put it in my own personal bank account. They used it to grow the business. So just something to think about as you're growing. We love our sponsors on the Against All Average podcast. When you need things digital looking their best, call our friends at did I even say friends? Call our friends at FAEM Pro Services. Our friends will give you the above all average treatment with an awesome new website, custom graphics, social media management, and a full line of printing services. FAEM, the trusted partner of the Against All Average podcast. Yes,
they're just such an awesome sponsor. I don't know. Every time you say it, I'm just, wow.
A bunch of cool dudes that just provide solutions.
Yeah, it's like they can solve your problems. It's like, why would you not want to at least talk to them? They're there to help make your life just a little bit easier. That's
it. You could, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if your lawnmower's not running, your car's not running, you don't know how to get to a certain location, just call FAEM. They'll hook you up. They'll tell you what's up. They go above and beyond for everyone. Jake's over there shaking his head. I don't know anything about lawnmowers, but he'll actually connect you with the lawnmower magic magician over here. I know you guys love our banter, but more so you like our business takeaways. Today in this quick hitter episode, we'll be talking about having a proper mindset and mental toughness. The first thing we're going to talk a little bit about is mental toughness, and Jake's going to take it away and start to talk a little bit about comparing yourself to others and not caring about what other people think.
Yeah. This is definitely a tough one. It's even a tough one for me. That I've had to. That's actually something I've been working on a lot. 'Cause it's tough, right? We have so much social media out there now that whether we want to realize it or not, we subconsciously compare our lives to other people. We just do. It's just what we do as humans. And I think that comes a lot from social media. Me personally, I have Instagram. I don't look at it. I'll post my pictures or whatever, post to the story, but I don't go and look at other people's stuff. I just simply post on there, and then I get out of there. I don't waste my time scrolling through Facebook. Same deal. I don't do the whole Twitter scene. I just don't do it, right? Because it just mentally bogs you down. And it's subconscious too. You're not even actively thinking about it until the light switch really switched for me, or flipped for me, when I stopped going on Instagram. It was just immediately like your mind just like felt relaxed, like you were actually in tune with yourself. I think that's so important, especially to new entrepreneurs too. You have so many moving parts with trying to run your business. Like, the last thing you really need is to be worrying what Sally did at the beach last weekend, and wishing that you were, drinking beers with the boys at the beach. when you're actually spending that time building your business, building your foundation of your life, building something kind of greater than yourself and setting yourself up for success in the long term. And I think the other aspect of mental toughness is just not caring. Like, to some degree, you have to care, right? You should care, as especially what your customers think, because that's the best advice you could probably get is straight from your customers. But at the end of the day, everybody has an opinion. Everybody likes to talk about themselves and bash other people. And those people just don't deserve a seat at the table in your life. Like, that's truly what it comes down to.
Right.
And you just have to weed that out, right? And it's so hard. And I think especially for the younger people, I gotta have 100 friends. If I don't have 100 friends, then I'm not a cool kid. It's like, who said that, right? Like, just
Or like,
flush these people out.
right now it's just like people boasting like, I've got 1 million followers on TikTok, or I've got 1 million views on this video. Like, that's cool that your stuff's going viral, but from a business standpoint, you want your business stuff going viral, because on Instagram, Facebook, any social media, YouTube, whatever it is, you must adapt yourself into being a creator, not somebody that is absorbing. Okay. So when we talk about Instagram and Facebook and all these different things, it's just one of our business tools to market our companies. Yep. It's not something where you just sit and consume. You create, you do not consume. And what I would suggest, if you do have these platforms, only follow positivity and only follow folks that are ahead of you in the same industry in which you are. And this is kind of a tough one, but one of my Instagrams, my main Instagram, I only follow the top 100 folks that I aspire to be in those different realms. I am trying to figure out, what are they using for stories? What are they using for content? How is it working? What is the engagement level? So I still use it as a business tool while I'm consuming. And I'll tell you, I'm not perfect. Like, I consume way more social media than I ever should. And my worst days is just this loop. Like, I can't get enough of it. Like, it is addicting. And you just get into this loop and into this rut to see if you got one more like, or one more share, or one more comment. And it just starts feeding this addiction. And all of these social media platforms are set up this way. They want it to be addictive. Coca-Cola, when it first came out, when Coca-Cola had cocaine in it, they wanted Coca-Cola to be addictive, right? They wanted you to get that fix of Coca-Cola, okay? These social media platforms are doing the same exact thing, and it's changing the wiring in our brains to need to consume. So I think the biggest one is, we talk about, we're not comparing ourselves to others. You're always going to compare. Just try to limit it, right? Try to be proud of yourself, waking up each day of what you have actually accomplished. Look back on the previous day, the previous week, and figure out what you've accomplished. Secondly, don't care about what others think when you're posting things. So many times, I mean, I don't do it as much as often, but like, if I'm shooting a story or I'm saying, hey, like, check out this episode of the Against All Average podcast, I used to film that shit like 5 times. 10 times before I'd put it out there, because I was like, oh, I didn't look at the camera right. I look tired in that. Oh, I need this. I need that to make it perfect. And what you're doing is you're setting yourself up to just need to be perfect. Instead, send it, right? You just take a picture, put it on there.
Just do it.
Just do
Full
it.
Send.
Full send. Absolutely.
It's yeah. No, that's so big. And like, the thing we're not saying is to like not care what other people think, because like, you should care to some degree of what others have to say about, especially in business life, right? Like, if everybody is saying, oh, you're a pompous, person, then that's probably just going to be a reflection not only of you, but it's going to reflect into your business as well. If you're the business owner, it's just taking what everybody has to say as a serious grain of salt, right? Like, don't overconsume what people say. Don't overconsume, what people are posting. Like, and the more you can just be content and be like your own biggest fan, that's a saying that I've been saying a lot the past few months, is like, I have to be my own biggest fan. Like nobody else is going to be my number one fan for me. Like that has to be myself. So me like expecting others to be my biggest fan, me expecting them to like care about, you know, the stuff I'm going through for life, it's setting myself up for failure. And nobody wants to be set up for failure. And I think that's just part of being mentally tough. And that's kind of one of my biggest takeaways. And I guess one of the big things I want listeners to understand right now is you have to be your own biggest fan. Like you have to be your number one fan, especially when you're on a business journey, starting a business. People are going to count you out. You have to be number one for yourself, and you can't expect anybody else to be your biggest fan.
And don't get us wrong. Like what Jake is saying, he says it so simply. That is so freaking hard, right, Jake? Like when the door closes in front of you and people say to piss off and get off your porch if you're selling door to door, or somebody just doesn't feel your vibe, it's just it's tough to continue to wake up and just be like, my product's the best, my solution's the best, my service is the best, and I am the best person to pass on this message. So it's one of those things, like you need to do a little bit of self-talk there, right? Especially as you're getting just beat up, is coming back, getting grounded, and understanding and valuing yourself. So that's a huge takeaway. So that was a big takeaway. And then the one I wanted you to take away as well is, with social media, make sure you're a creator, not an absorber. Okay. You're not just going through and spending hours and just watching all the different pimple popping videos and doctors' procedures and street fights and protests. I mean, you could get lost in that. You get down a wormhole quick. Within 5 minutes, you go on there to post something. 5 minutes later, I'm reclined back in my recliner watching some like street drag racing video with a fight in the middle of it. It's just like, what the, and you get completely
How did
distracted.
I get here?
Yeah. So got to go check that calendar again and figure out how much later into the night I'm going to have to work because I screwed up, So we all do it, but just trying to actively be present about it. Make sure it's present in your mind that you are a creator, not an absorber. The next thing I want to talk about, and Jake's going to fire this one off and start us up again, is possibility mindset. And possibility mindset, in my mind, the definition in my mind is believing that anything is possible.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a great way to start this one off. And it's very tough. It's definitely something that I've personally struggled with our software, because our software is truly revolutionizing the industry. We are basically, in layman's terms, we're bringing the internet to an industry that's never seen the internet. So people don't understand what we're doing. And so it's very frustrating for people to not know what our product is, just because it's brand new thing. And that's something that we've definitely really had to work through. And I think the biggest thing that at least I tell myself is, you're going to have days, you're probably going to have weeks where nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody even wants to give you the time of day. And you're going to feel down and out. You're going to feel like you're the biggest failure in the world, but you just have to look to a better tomorrow, right? Like you have to convince yourself, and this is hard. Convincing yourself against what your brain wants to believe is so freaking hard. But you truly have to convince yourself, like, this will work. Somebody will bite on this. Like it just takes one person to give you a yes to completely change your whole mindset, your whole even outlook on business, right? Like, some customers are so big, you just need one of them. And, let's say Nike hops aboard. Oh yeah, Nike works with us. Now everybody else wants to work with you because you work with that one person. Like, you have to convince yourself that it's going to work. And that's what, it happened. I was in a slump, the past week, of people just kind of didn't want to talk. And, in the event industry, granted, we're in a very weird spot right now, but, the Idaho State Fair comes along, massive fair, and like, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Let's go. And it was just that, like, it was that, not the I've won moment, but the, like, I told myself this is going to work. Like, it is working, right? I had to believe in myself. And you just truly have to convince yourself that anything's possible. Kind of like Kyle said, anything's possible, and you don't know. Like, don't count yourself out too soon.
And Jake, I want to stop you right there because you were talking about just believing that it was going to happen. And this is one of the core parts of my life that I truly believe in, and it really changes the way in which I work, the way in which I approach people, talk to people, and self-confidence is I strongly believe that the world is working for me, not against me. And that
Yes.
same day that I wake up and I'm thinking that, I could have 3 flat tires and my car, my son could scratch the side of my truck and my back could go out. Like all these different things could happen in a row, but still, like, I have never taken the approach that the world is against me. Nobody wants to hire me. Nobody wants to pay for this. Nobody wants to do that. Like it's just not a it's not a mindset to set yourself up for success. And I think so many people that have been beaten down in their different jobs and have stopped gaining skills, have stopped getting momentum, and are just down and out,
Mhm.
they start to change and they start to think that the world is actually against them. They think that everything is set up, all the laws, all the legislation, um, all the different structures within our society, every single one is set up to put me under, to make me not make money, et cetera, and so forth. And that's not to say that different folks have it rougher than others, but the actual mindset to believe that the world is going to work for you is always going to propel you forward. Where on the other side, if you believe that things are going to work against you, holy moly, they will. And they will work
Quickly.
quickly, strongly, every day, every hour. Nothing will go right, and it will never go your way.
And Kyle, what do you think about, because I'm a very, very big believer in the mantra of like everything happens for a reason, and the mantra or the saying of like the cards to my life will play out. They're not my cards to play. Like I just have to keep on being the best version of me every single day and it will work out. Is that kind of the mindset you use? Or do you just wake up and like piss excellence and are like, no, this is great. I'm going to go. Like it's going to be the best day possible.
No, it goes right back into possibility mindset.
Right.
Okay. So, like, I always understand that everything and anything is possible for me. Everything and anything. It could be the worst of the worst. That's possible. Okay. I could lose everything. That is possible. Like that is fine. That's in my mindset. I accept it. It's there. But I also understand that there could be a huge upside to my life where I'm able to live a life where I can do the things that I want to do, the time I want to do them, and spend the most time with my family possible. And there could be so many different ways that are possible for my life, if that makes sense. Okay. But with a possibility mindset, you've got to stay ready. And
Ooh.
that's the
Ooh.
biggest piece that people don't understand. You want to speak on stages? Well, did you speak every morning from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. at the freaking wall so that you were ready when the time came? If you're playing sports and you're a quarterback and you're in the Arena Football League and you want to make it to the NFL, did you spend every waking hour getting yourself ready for that opportunity? Or did you wait for the opportunity to arise and you were not ready? And that happens so many times in our lives. And that's another mindset tactic is elevating your skills and always being ready for the opportunity to show up. Because it's funny, when you are ready and you're constantly ready and you're constantly working towards whatever it may be, people see you working.
Yep.
People see you putting in the work. They see your consistency. They see your effort. They see your energy. And then they're willing to give you the opportunity. So people that are sitting back waiting for an opportunity to unfold on their lap, it's not going to happen. Increase your skills, increase your network. Okay. Hang out with people that have a possibility mindset, a positive mindset, a group of people that believe that the world works for them and not against them is the most powerful tool that you can have in your toolbox. If you hang around with 5 people that work minimum wage, you're the 6th.
And
Okay?
not and to be clear, we're not saying that that is not what you should do, right? Like to each their own. Maybe those minimum wage workers, that makes them very happy. But what we're saying is, if you don't want to be that minimum wage worker, then you can't be hanging around with that. You know, it's that famous saying of, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. Right?
Right.
Just like Kyle said, you will be the 6th. It's just, I mean, we're not saying it's a bad thing, but if you don't want to be there, then don't do it. You know, it's as simple as that. It's like, and the other thing we're not saying is, we're not saying, hey, you need to be up from, midnight to 6 a.m. speaking at the wall. Like, no, that comes, that's a time management thing.
I said,
Topic, but
yeah, I said 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. That's a block of my calendar that I
yep.
block out to get better, right? And I'm not knocking on anybody and how much money they make. Do not get me wrong. However, I do not personally want to struggle that hard in my life only making that amount of money. There's so many things that arise from poverty that I don't want to be a part of that. And so what I continue to strive to do, and what I'm doing today and what I'm doing right now, is we're creating, we're working, we're being consistent, and we're giving value to people that need it. And so I hope our listeners are loving the simple takeaways. But these mindset tactics, if you don't have these, I can't even talk business with you.
Yeah.
I can't.
And that's not even like a bash or a knock. It's just that you simply, to be in the business world, you simply have to have the mindset, just even if you just have the understanding of the mindset to be able to talk about it, right? Like, and I think kind of our last point here is failure, and you touched on it. Nobody wants to look failure, or even think about it, right? We always want to think success, we're going to do great, but like, you have to be realistic. You have to realize that it's a possibility, right? I mean, but where for you, Kyle, where is that fine line of knowing that it's a real possibility to also saying, like, I'm not going to let that happen?
Yeah, I mean, failure is one of those. That's why so many people don't start, right, Jake? Is they're just so afraid to freaking fail. And what happens to your friend group? Like your friend, oh, how's that company you just started? Is that going really well? And you don't want to admit, well, that company's no longer, like, we completely cut ties with all that. That business partner didn't work, etc. So there's that feeling of there's that feeling of like your peers as well. And that's why it's important. Go ahead.
Which hold on, I want to stop you right there, which goes back to our first point of simply not caring what other people think. Embrace that.
Yeah. And a second point is, who are your peers?
Yeah. No
right. Like that's even bigger. It's just like, who are your peers that you care that they would care that you fail? Right. So we always have to know that failure is inevitable. It's part of the process, and that everybody fails. Okay. But you can't let your mind think that way until the last possible second of whatever project it is. Make sure that you are going forward as hard as you can, back against the wall, and fight tooth and freaking nail. Okay. And at some point, and this is going to be different for each person, know when to like cut your losses, right? If you see no momentum going anywhere, nobody likes it, nobody's signing up for it, nobody's buying it, stop for a second and reevaluate. So I think we need to make sure that it's okay to fail, especially when we're starting out. Man, I can't tell you how many programs that I've launched that flopped. And you want me to give you a number? Probably 20 different programs that I had a full marketing structure to them, email structure, social media structure to them. Just did not fill. It wasn't the right fit. My target market didn't like it, didn't appreciate it, etc. But do I then start crying, or do I start to adjust? Do I start to talk to the people that did not sign up, ask them why they didn't sign up, and use it as a growth tool?
And how much, if you had to quantify that, how much money do you think you, I don't think lost is the right term. I think, what was the potential revenue that all 20 of those camps or programs could have generated that you were not able to capture.
Yeah. And it's, I don't say it as lost money, sort of like you were trying to find the right words for it. It's not lost money. It's lost due to learning, I guess. And
Yep.
that's the best way I put it in my head, because that keeps me from crying at night. Um,
Yep.
is I think, those 20 programs, each program is around, let's talk profit instead of revenue. You always wonder what goes in your pocket, right? So I'd say
Right.
about $5,000 per program. So 5 times 20 is 100,000. So, um, again, that's a hefty down payment on a house. That's, I don't know, a couple cars. That's, some rental properties. That's some stocks, some bonds. I mean, you never had it though. I never
But
had that money. You know what I mean? And so when we're going through these times, that's another mindset thing. I don't go, "Oh my goodness, I lost so much money." I go, "Wow, that didn't work. That didn't work because of this, this, and this. Why don't I try it this way?" Next morning, get up, start generating those email series, start getting back on social media and try to launch something else. Okay. It's not that I did not try. It's not that what happened wasn't coming from the heart. It's just sometimes things do not work out and your target market doesn't like them. That's okay.
and the point I'm trying to make here is that sure, you weren't able to capture that $100 in profit from those 20 programs, but by learning in those 20 different failures, you were able to generate a lot more profit in all your other programs, right? The point I'm trying to make is that we can't focus on the specific loss. We have to focus on the positives that we gained from losing, right? Like my team, especially in the pro services side, go fail. Please go fail, right? Because if we have the mindset of, oh, don't go fail. One, everybody's now scared of failure. So when we do fail, it's like this big bad thing. And two, if we just say like, don't be afraid to fail, like we're not afraid to try new things. I think that's like the heart of entrepreneurship. You have to go try new things and figure out what works, right? It's like when we completely butcher a customer's website, sweet. Like we just screwed that thing up. Now we'll know to never make a website look like that again. And we
And
fail forward.
yeah, and you have enough talent. They believe in themselves. They can fix it. It might take
Right.
it might take a little while, but you could fix it. If you're not failing, you're playing too small.
Ooh, and I think that's a great third or fourth takeaway here. Is one, fail forward. Don't be afraid to fail, but also if you're not failing, as Kyle said, like you're not playing in a big enough pond, or you're just simply not challenging yourself enough. Like you should be failing. Like I don't know about consistently, but you should definitely be failing if you're truly trying to grow and push your skill set, your mindset, your business to the next level. You have to fail to get to the next point, right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, this episode has so much to do with mindset, mental toughness, always knowing that things are possible, believing that the world is working out there for you, not against you, and not really caring what other people think, being free to fail, and then using those failures to make your business and your life better. So as we close this thing out, mindset is everything. Don't start a business and not work on your mindset. It should be a daily challenge to yourself to work on your mind, to make yourself a tougher business person. Because as we know, during COVID-19, not only do you have to be flexible, you have to pivot, but more importantly than anything, you have to stay grounded and keep that positive mindset, even if you're getting punched in the face.
And I think the last actionable takeaway I really want listeners to understand is that we say you need to be mentally tough, you need to do this, you need to do this, but we also need to provide listeners with actionable, tangible next steps of how they can get there. And I think a great first step, if you don't know where to start, if you don't know how to start being mentally tough, if you don't know how to just not care what other people think, look at your morning routine. Like there's so much psychology and science into teeing up a good day when you wake up. Like the first thing I started doing now, I don't even touch my phone. Don't even touch my phone for the first 20 to 30 minutes. I wake up, I think about 3 things I want to accomplish during the day. I think about 3 things that I'm grateful for the past day. And then I just think about the positive things I have going in my life. So I think there's a lot to do with your morning routine. Think positive when you wake up. Think about the things you're going to accomplish, and make tangible small goals for that day.
Absolutely. And I think in one of our next quick hitters, we'll talk a little bit about routine mornings. We'll talk about consistency. We'll talk about one of my favorites is efficiency. I'm huge on efficiencies. A lot of people are like, well, you're out in the neighborhood, like, I don't know, 8 hours of the last 10, you were playing recess aid and playing with your kids. Yeah, but in my 2 hours, I get more done in those 2 hours than a lot of people do in 8. So that will be for another episode. Man, thank you, Jake. That's so much positivity that we can help out with right now with people that are struggling. So thanks for dropping gold. As always, your thoughts and positive mindset are so valuable to our listeners.
Oh, Kyle, don't short yourself here, dude. You provided some absolute gold. These listeners are just going to get an absolute, I just hope they really just embrace the words we're saying. Be mentally tough. Like you are good enough for this journey. Like, don't let anybody freaking tell you you're not. You can do it. Go freaking do it.
It's going to take some work, going to take some consistency, but anybody out there can do it. All the entrepreneurs out there are not the brightest, but they're usually the most consistent. In order to grow the podcast, we need your help. Please subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform and tell a friend about every episode you find value in, and share the episode on your favorite social media platforms. If you like the episode, please rate it the highest rating you possibly can think of for this episode, because it was gold. And even better, leave us a baller review. Something so freaking awesome that everybody's going to want to listen to the podcast. You can find us at Against All Average on all those social media platforms, and at www.againstallaverage.com. Another big shout out to Jake for dropping gold on this quick hitter about mindset and so much more. And FAEM Pro Services, our sponsor, thank you for supporting our show since the beginning. And with that, we thank you for listening to the Against All Average podcast. We'll see you next time.